No, that's exactly right. Where it's how do you kind of take this concept and turn it into a very concrete walk the walk example or path for people to take when it comes to prospecting, right? Because I think that's why a lot of people don't is there's ambiguity in there. It's like, well, who am I supposed to call and what am I supposed to say and what do I do if they pick up the phone or don't pick up the phone or what do I do if? So that's kind of my thought on the block for prospecting. What do you think it is?
Yeah. I think blocking, so not just blocking time, but blocking the product that you're selling, you got to get into a rhythm. So for those of you that haven't been able to tell yet, I have a small stutter and I've stuttered my whole life. And I started my sales career at NeoGenomics, carrying the bag, selling laboratory testing to pathologists and oncologists in Colorado. And it was really hard for me to pick up the phone. A cold walk was much easier because the empathy of a doctor to just see you in person, like if you can catch them in a hallway or in the lab, it was much easier. So to call and do the phone was very hard for me. But what I did is I got really dialed in on a couple of our products and I had scripts that I followed and I knew exactly why I was calling, who I am, the reason for my call, what I want to show you and why it's important for you and why you need to listen. And then I could deliver a message in probably under a minute that I would either ask them, now that I have you on the phone, can we schedule some time on the calendar to meet in person? Or if you're in front of a computer and have time now, I can do a web demo live for you. And that process of doing that, I got really good at doing it. And again, it just filled the top of the funnel so fat to where I could learn. I mean, that's part of the thing in sales, again, why prospecting is so important is when you have a top of funnel, you can fail. When you've got a lot of opportunities, it's okay to fail. You're not as desperate to try to close one or two of those big monsters because you've got a bunch of opportunities. And I think that was for me, for really successful is that I had 20 to 30 of these deals at a time that I was working that I learned a tremendous amount. So prospecting and chunking and blocking my time allowed me to generate a massive amount of top of funnel that then just was a big windfall for me as I worked these deals through the sales process.
Yeah. I think those are just golden words of wisdom for sure, because who knows what's going to happen? People could leave a company. We could miss somebody in a buying committee. Like there's 1,000 things that can happen to a deal and most of them are not in our control at the end of the day. So, but what is in our control is picking up the phone and doing outreach and all that good stuff for sure. I love it. So you had mentioned that you started your career at NeoGenomics. And so here you are now as the VP in the Informatics Division. So tell us a little bit about your progression.
Yeah, so I started off as the person that most salespeople hate. I used to manage the CRM at NeoGenomics. I built the CRM. I launched Salesforce at Neo was my big thing. And I had to teach the reps to log their calls in a culture that wasn't used to logging calls, right? And how to use this and how to do their prospecting and everything. But did that, learned a ton, and eventually got the opportunity to move into sales. I was persuasive enough in some of the things where they said, hey, you might be able to go sell some of our products and services. So I was a field-based rep in Colorado and I had a huge territory at the time and learned a lot there, transitioned to another field-based role in Los Angeles. And I was a rep in a smaller geography, but a larger dollar amount market and moved into that. And then after NeoGenomics acquired Clarient from GE Healthcare, I took on a national business development role to call on academic centers across the US. So that was my first exposure into like big national travel, working collaboratively with our 45 sales reps across the country. Didn't have any direct reports, but had to collaboratively work with people that were all different backgrounds, all different ages. Wow. And it was really cool experience. Then started to build out a small team within that group. And over the last couple of years, more transitioned into informatics, where I'm helping lead that now from a sales perspective. And I've been able to build up a team that includes sales, service, and product.
Nice. That's amazing, Kyle.